like to end that tonight with Curtis Granderson leading off, and Zach throws a little bit low. Curtis Granderson maybe gets lost in the shadow of Grady Sizemore in the American League Central because he is one of the exciting players who brings a lot of dimensions to the game, but you don't hear a whole lot about him.
Well, you don't, but he brings speed, tremendous center field play. The one knock is the strikeouts. He has a high strikeout count, and that might be the separation right there. But he does do a lot for a leadoff guy, but the strikeouts would be the one negative.
Which sounds a lot like Grady Sizemore, who's, if there was one knock on him, for a leadoff guy, he has a lot of strikeouts, but when you do all the other things, you can overlook that one particular number. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, when you get 30 home runs and then come back with the stolen bases to go with it, then it puts you in another level.
79 degrees at first pitch. We started at 7:11 Central Daylight Time. Great night to be at the ballpark, and many will be here tonight. Time and temp presented by the Parking Spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The Parking Spot at KCI. That pitch coming in at 96 miles an hour. Always a good barometer at the ballpark, Frank, is if the cars are still lined up on I-70 and the game has started, we're going to have a big crowd.
Well, they couldn't wait to see Zach Greinke pitch, and they couldn't wait to see the team get back in town. And this is Friday night, and it's fireworks, so everything's is lined up good for the fans tonight.
Frank, if you're the Royals, before you leave for that road trip, I think nobody would have put up a big argument for a 3-3 trip. But when you could have gone 5-1, how should the Royals feel about the trip right now?
Well, I think they should feel good because anytime you go 500 on the road, that's great. I think what they want to try to do is get through these first 35 games and come out about around the 500 mark. I think that'd be great, getting through the cold weather. Then they can continue to pitch the way they have, continue to give themselves opportunity to score runs. I think it should be fine. Zach, a good running fastball on the outside corner. He's got a nice compact delivery, Ryan. Good turn in the hips and just drives from that back leg and gets out over that front leg, and just always in that good fielding position after he throws the ball.
Ball 1 to Placido Polanco. That turn that Zach has before delivering the pitch is still something rather new for him, as Polanco singles to center. And the Tigers have their first base runner. When Zach went to the bullpen a couple of years ago and looking for a little extra drive from the body, from the legs, he started that turn towards home plate where he almost turns his back to the catcher and to the hitter. But when he went back to the starting rotation at the end of 2007, he got rid of the turn, but his mechanics were out of whack. So back to the turn and back to the fastball in the mid to upper 90s.
Well, what the turn does, it gives you a chance to have your arm keep up with your body. If you bring the leg up and you start to lean to home plate before you separate your hands, then your arm's going to drag behind, and you will lose command, especially on your fastball, and you won't be able to get on top of your curveball. So the turn really helps everything stay back and stay compact.
Kayaso to the outfield grass. Ordonez's average drops even more against Zach Greinke. 2 down with Polanco at first base.
You know, Ryan, we were talking on the road trip about how one team could have one pitcher's number and one pitcher could have one team's number, but when you have a pitcher with a player's got a player's number, there's no explanation to it. I don't know. George had a guy, he had 16 straight hits off of it and couldn't get him out. So I think that there's no explanation to it.
And now to a hitter that Zach has had some trouble with. The whole league has had trouble with Miguel Cabrera. And when I say league, I mean major league, not necessarily National or American League. This guy has ripped the cover off the ball ever since coming up to the big leagues at the age of 19 with the Florida Marlins. Kayaso to the bag, and Zach has pitched 35 consecutive scoreless innings. scoreless. Top of the first inning, giving up just one single. And now the Royals coming up against Rick Porcello. It'll be Chris DeJesus Tien back in the number 3 position. Billy Butler, Alberto Kayaso had a great road trip. Mike Aviles to the number 7 spot. And then Miguel Olivo and Mitch Meyer making the start against a pitcher the Royals have never seen before. 20-year-old Rick Porcello. Trey Hillman out talking to the umpires before the first pitch, and now the umpires passing on whatever that information was to Tigers manager Jim Leyland. And here is Porcello, first-round draft pick in 2007.
Well, Rick Porcello has a fastball, curveball, and change. He works comfortably between 91 and 93. Has a good running fastball that'll run down and in to right-handers if it starts mid-thigh. But if it gets higher than that, it'll just slide across the plate and probably could jam right-handers.
See a little movement on that first pitch to Coco Crisp. Hit about 260 in Texas and Cleveland. Scored 6 runs. Also belted his second home run of the year. Both home runs have been big for the Royals. No balls, 2 strikes. His home run in Texas a week ago tonight was a 3-run home run, and the Royals 12-3 blowout over the Rangers.
Well, Coco's starting to, I guess it must be the weather. The weather's starting to warm up, so he's starting to run a little bit more. Had 2 stolen bases in the last series.
Didn't mean to go around. Still nothing in 2. Porcello in 07 was the 27th overall pick. He could have gone much higher than that, but a lot of teams were wary of selecting him maybe in the top 3 or 5 picks because his agent is Scott Boras. So you know that's going to be an expensive draft pick. So 27 is not really a reflection of where he ranked. The Tigers gave him a truck full of money, but it appears to have paid off. 2 years later, he's in the big leagues. This is going to be a hit for Coco Crisp. That's what you get for avoiding a strikeout.
Well, they cut the swing down. Porcello threw a nice running fastball down and away. Coco stayed on it, beat it in the ground. And Brandon Inge coming across with that angle of his body just didn't have a play on Coco with his speed.
Coco 2 out of 3 in stolen base attempts. The Royals have stolen just 5 in their first 15 games. Now David DeJesus, he had a low overall batting average on the trip, just .217, but he did hit his first 2 home runs, and he had 6 RBIs. Strike 1 from Porcello.
Well, he looked a lot more poised at the plate. He didn't swing it as many bad pitches in off the plate. So it looks like he's starting to zone everything in to where he can get it back out over the middle, and the ball that stays on the plate, he's able to turn on that pitch.
One ball, 1 strike. One thing that stands out about Porcello, at least for me, when you look at the numbers, 20 years old, great arm. He has walked 1 batter in 12 innings. Always seems like the guys with the great arms that get to the big leagues at a young age, walks are an issue, not with this guy.
Well, he's also real poised on the mound. He really gathers himself well. He doesn't try to rush it and doesn't try to overthrow. And with that good sinker, he gets a lot of hitters to swing at that because it starts knee high, and when they commit themselves, then it's a ball. But they, like Coco's pitch, it's out of the strike zone, but he was able to get a little bat on it. A lot of that could be as a result of maybe the deception that he has when he releases that pitch.
And he is now more concerned with Coco Crisp than he is David DeJesus, and that's a good thing for the Royals.
Well, normally when you're a base runner, you've never seen a pitcher, you want to get as big a lead as you can, thinking anytime any move he makes you coming back to first base, you just want to make sure that you see his best move before you commit yourself to trying to steal a base.
Coco got a very good jump. DeJesus puts it in play, and Porcello almost threw it away. I think Coco really got in his head, and the Royals have a runner in scoring position with one out.
I think he saw him enough, Ryan, and he got a great jump. Didn't look in the home plate. Everything was just full speed ahead to second base. That might have been a good pitch where if David could see him get that good jump, he could have taken that pitch and gave him a chance to steal a base right there.
Is it easier for a right-hand batter to see that than a left-hand batter?
Yes, yes. That's one of the values of having a number 1 and 2 hitter every day, because now they get a feel for each other. They know what pitches they will run on, won't run on, and the second place hitter will definitely give the base runner an opportunity to steal and try to get him over to third base.
So Coco down at second. Ball 1 to Mark Tien, who led the Royals with 11 hits on the trip. Got his first home run of the year, 3 RBIs, and back to the spot in the batting order where he began the year. And he could be there for a while, as Jose Guillen is scheduled to come off of the disabled list tomorrow. But I'm sure the Royals wanted to load up as many left-handers as possible against Porcello tonight, because the league hitting .400, at least the left-hand batters against him. And Tien deep to the opposite field. Back goes Anderson all the way back. 2-run home run. That swing down, doesn't he?
He has it down, and I don't think they should try to change him at all. He's going back to spring training. He was driving the ball that way, and if he can hit the ball out of this ballpark the opposite way, I don't see any reason to change at all.
So 2-0 Royals. Tien with his second home run, and now Mike Jacobs, who had some big hits on the trip. Here's another look at the Tien home run.
Well, this is a fastball that was supposed to have been down in the zone. Porcello left it out over the plate, and Mark Tien let it go deep and just drove the ball over the left field wall. So that wasn't a just get me over the fence home run. That was over by quite a bit.
Now it'll be interesting to see how the ball travels today. This is the first warm game. It's not June, July, or August, but 79 degrees at first pitch. The prevailing wind in the summer is out of the south, and the question has come up many times: how will the new construction affect the flight of the ball? Couldn't really gauge it during the first homestand because there were so many cold games and not a whole lot of wind, but we'll see what happens tonight. 3 balls and no strikes on Mike Jacobs, and with more on the wind, let's go down to Joel.
Well, I was talking to one of the members of the Detroit Tigers coaching staff, and I said, what do you think of the stadium? And he said, it's absolutely beautiful. This place is incredible. I said, still a pitcher's park. And he said, yeah, but watch out for left field tonight. That ball is going to be absolutely traveling. He hadn't seen it yet, but obviously he's seen it now. He also told me, watch out for the great makeup of Porcello, but the breaking ball, if he doesn't get that over, he's going to get in some trouble, guys.
All right, thanks, Joel, and some tough hitting luck for Mike Jacobs, who hit it right on the nose, but the Tigers were playing him perfectly. Well, here's the rest of the Tigers defense. Josh Anderson, the rookie in left, with Curtis Granderson and Maglio Ordonez. Brandon Inge, 5 errors with Ramon Santiago, Placido Polanco, and Miguel Cabrera. And the new Tiger, Gerald Laird, for Porcello. Strike 1 on Billy Butler. Now we expect the ball to travel with the wind blowing the way it is, but we'll also see by how much, especially with the party deck in right field. That's could be a spot that could possibly knock down the wind somewhat.
Well, probably tonight, on like tonight when the wind's blowing around the left, the hotter it gets in here, the wind blows out the left and the jet streams are in the alleys.
Butler down on strikes. The inning is over. But Mark Tien with his second home run of the year to the opposite field, giving the Royals and Greinke an early lead. Lead as we take a look at our AMCO AA MCO clutch play of the week. It was 9 innings of play for Zach Greinke against the Rangers on Saturday.
Well, he was very dominating in a complete game win.
7 hits allowed in those 9 innings, 10 strikeouts, which was 1 shy of a career high, and his first major league shutout. 2 of Zach's 3 wins this year have been 2-0 victories. Carlos Guillen leads off. He's the designated hitter. He's been bothered by a sore Achilles, so hasn't been in the field. Supposed to be the Tigers' regular left fielder this year. We've seen him all over the infield with the Tigers and the Mariners. And now moving to the outfield as Zach flips in a curveball at 73 to jump ahead 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Here's the Roadrunner turbo speed pitch from the first inning. Porcello at 96, Zach at 95, so that'll be fun to watch tonight. Now fast is even faster. Double your speed with Roadrunner turbo from Time Warner Cable. So down goes Carlos Guillen as Zach gets him out with a breaking ball, and that's 2 strikeouts for Zach. 1 down in the second inning.
Zach did a great job with a breaking ball early. First inning he was fastball, and this inning he's mixing in his hard slider to go with that, especially with 2 strikes to left-handers.
Bringing up Gerald Laird. A little bit inside with the curveball. Laird 0 for his last 9 coming in tonight. Hit well against the Royals last year with the Rangers. And you don't say this very often about a catcher, but you need to keep an eye on him. He will lay down a bunt.
That may be one of those things he'll save for late in the game in a crucial situation. And
just past Kayaso and into right field. Second hit for the Tigers. So 1 on, 1 out. And let's find Joel Goldberg.
Well, we're up on the party deck. A little more crowded than when it was here when we were back here last time when it was cold. everybody's hanging out. Not sure what all these guys were doing at 6 this morning or what you guys were doing, but as for the Detroit Tigers, they got in from out of town at 6 this morning, and no excuses, no complaints, but we got in last night from Cleveland at about 5:45, 6 in the evening. They hadn't even started a game in Anaheim yet, one of the quirky things in baseball, and for some reason they played a night game in Anaheim, then traveled east. So these Tigers may be a little bit tired today. I'm sure they're not too thrilled about having to come in at that hour of the night, guys.
All right, Joel. Well, the Royals and their fans won't be bothered by that if they're a little tired. But Jim Leyland said, I don't understand why we played a day game, the Tigers at the Angels, knowing that they were going to travel 2 time zones at Kansas City. And I agree with him 100%. I don't know how the league doesn't step in and try and help prevent a team from landing, not getting to the hotel, landing in Kansas City at 6. You're probably not in your room till 7:30, and then you got to play a game that night.
We've had days like that when I was a player. What I would do, I'd come in, order breakfast, and then go to sleep. And rather than going to sleep and do it the reverse, but that's almost like what you do in the minor leagues. You get off the bus at 9 o'clock in the morning, grab a bite, and go right to the ballpark.
The Tigers, just like the Royals, are in a long stretch of games without an off day, the exact same stretch, 20 straight games. And of course, there's the obvious, well, you're a major leaguer and you're making such and such money, you just deal with it. But there's a lot of people here who paid to see some of the best players in the world play at a high level. And if the Tigers aren't at 100%, I think you're taking a little bit away from possibly the caliber of play tonight.
Well, you just hope that the guys are not that fatigued. A lot of times when you fly, it's better to fly right in and play versus fly in, go to bed, and come back and play. So let's hope that there's no risk of injury from hamstrings or that type of thing. They can hydrate very well and be okay.
Ryan, you hit it on the head. I don't think Royals fans are too concerned about the Tigers, but it goes around the league, some of the quirky scheduling as well. And when you look at the Royals schedule later this summer, they've got a game in Oakland where they play an evening game and turn right back around, head east with the time change, and then play again at Kauffman Stadium the next night. So it's not just the Tigers. It's just one of the things that you guys said. You hate to see any team affected by it.
I agree. And, they might not be groggy tonight, but who knows what they're going to be like tomorrow, Sunday, and the days after that. Runner goes, and that's ball 4. So Brandon Inge, who was down at one point 0-2, draws a walk. And now 2 on with 1 out. And rookie Josh Anderson coming up. So our first look at Anderson, a former draft pick of the Houston Astros, was traded to the Braves, traded to the Tigers. And something the Tigers did not have last year was a lineup with some speed. They had Curtis Granderson at the top of the order, and then that was it. And now Anderson gives Jim Leyland a little bit more balance in his lineup. He's already stolen 4 bases. The Royals are ready for a bunt. He will bunt for a hit. And Zach misses for ball 1.
But it kind of gives you 3 guys in a row. You got Santiago and Granderson right behind him, so he can literally play 2 types of game to try to bring the offense back to the middle of the order.
Chance for 2. Out at second. Double play. 36 scoreless innings for Zach Greinke. 2-0 Royals. pitched 2 scoreless innings, and Mark Tien hit a 2-run home run. And we tell you that this is game 1 of 3 with Detroit. Tomorrow at 6:10, game 2 with Kyle Davies and Zach Miner. Coverage begins at 5:30 with Royals Live here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Alberto Kayaso, 10 hits on the trip, got his batting average up to .381. Followed by Mike Aviles and Miguel Olivo. Deep right field, Ordonez shallow. That's into the wind, but Kayaso gets enough. 2 home runs against Porcello in the first 2 innings.
And if you ever want to see how to hit a high fastball, that's how you hit one right there. Kayaso really gets the hands over and gets through that ball, stays back on his backside. And what we talked about earlier is the ball going to carry to right center field. We just saw right there that if you hit it, it'll go.
Even into that very strong crosswind. I mean, if you hit it out to right center field in this ballpark with no wind, it's a good jolt. Polanco, who won a Gold Glove 2 years ago, throws out Mike Aviles. Kayaso not only hitting his first home run of the year, it's his first major league home run. Almost killed Don Miller, the Royals director of baseball moving pictures.
Now he smiles.
By the way, that was a former NFL linebacker ducking out of the way of that baseball. So the Royals going deep twice against Porcello. He's had trouble with the home run ball. That's 5 against him now in 13 in the 3rd innings.
Well, if you pitch up in this league, they're gonna hit, especially with the fastball. You're gonna get hit, especially if you're behind in the count.
2-1 on Olivo. .391 home runs or feet. A little difference between 391 feet and 391 home runs. Kayaso, that's the distance for his first major league home run, as Olivo loses a hit on a nice play at third by Brandon Inge. So 2 down, and now Mitch Meyer, who grew up not far from Detroit as a Tigers fan. Not the first time he's played against the Tigers, but I'm sure every time he sees that old English D, it takes him back a few years. And a strike over the inside from Porcello. Mitch without a hit since being called up. He has walked a couple of times and scored twice. One ball, 2 strikes.
The one thing that Porcello does is he really throws that sinker a lot, and when you throw it to a lefty, it's going to go down and away. So Mitch has got to stay through the ball. Right now he's hitting around it, and he's making him try to pull it, and that's how you get your ground balls.
2-2. Porcello strikes out his second, but the Royals take him deep again. This time Alberto Kayaso. This is the first of 391 career home runs. Now Zach Greinke has a 3-0 lead. Remember, you can still pick up a 9-game season ticket plan starting at just $99 and select your favorite dates, including premium games, a game like tonight, or choose the new full season plan starting at just $5 a game. Still available, even though we're into our 16th game of the year. 816-504-4040 or Royals.com for more information. 1-0 to Ramon Santiago. He gets jammed and loops it into right center field. Meyer with a backhand and a knee slide.
You know, right when you got a center fielder and a right fielder with good speed, they both take the same angle. And when they really got to communicate, and usually on a short play, the right fielder is going to come in shorter, and the center fielder go behind. But they were on the same path, and luckily Coco decided to veer off at the last minute.
That looked like an excellent play by Coco, because at least from the angle we got, didn't appear that Mitch was calling for it. But Coco realizing that was a big man headed his way. I would guess that when you go from center field to the corner, because the center fielder has priority over everyone on the field, that you're used to not having to call for it. If you can catch it, go get it. But rules are a little different in left field and right field.
Well, that's true. Normally you communicate with each other out there, and one says they usually have signs. One sign will say, "I'm gonna go short, you back up," and they'll know exactly what they're gonna do in that situation. But the corner guy, if he's got to come across and try to make a dive and catch, it's always better for the center fielder to be the backup guy in that situation.
The wind will push it, but plenty of room for DeJesus. Curtis Granderson is 0 for 2. And Zach working on his first 1-2-3 inning. And now Placido Polanco, who singled in the first inning. And a knee buckling curveball had Polanco sprinting towards his own dugout.
Yeah, Polanco's one of those hitters that he just has a nice short swing, doesn't chase a lot of bad pitches, and he uses the whole field.
This time he stays back, and a soft liner to Mark Tien, and that is a 9-pitch, 1-2-3 scoreless inning for Greinke. Royals baseball brought to you tonight by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit Kia.com. And by Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends. Please enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Coco Crisp almost decapitated Miguel Cabrera. So Coco, who had a kind of a check swing infield single first time up, lines out second time out, and there's Exhibit A of the game evening itself out. Joel Goldberg roaming around. Where are you, Joel?
Just grabbed a seat a little bit above Dave Owen on the third base. I've been talking so much about the crowds in the outfield. Well, tonight with this incredible, beautiful weather, I had a chance to walk the whole concourse, and there is so much activity going on this side of the stadium as well. People are out exploring, getting food, and there's so many different vendors and all that. So just a great buzz in the air. Such a beautiful night, not too hot. Everybody having a good time. I just bumped into the Top C's popcorn guy, and everybody knows how great that is. They wanted to know. He said, bring some stuff up for Ryan and Frank. And I told him, Jamie, of course, too. You guys want some goods from Top C's?
Well, no offense to Top C's, Joel.
Here we go. Frank, how about you?
But as you know, as DeJesus hits it to center field, and Curtis Granderson managing the win for the catch. David is 0 for 2. As you know, Joel,
yes,
it is a cardinal sin,
yes,
to eat popcorn when you're on the air, because the skin of the kernel can get lodged in your throat. But can we send a couple of bags to our hard-working buddies in the truck?
Well, I believe the rule is no food in the truck, but if we could sneak it by, which I think we've just outed ourselves. How about the gentleman below me that just offered me some M&M peanuts? I don't know if they were open yet or not, but you could have those if you'd like.
Well, pretty soon we're going to have to transition, Joel, from the peanut butter hot chocolate to the Reese's peanut butter cup from Sheridan's, if it continues to get warm like this. A concrete. Mark Tien homered to the opposite field in the first inning against Porcello, his second of the year. He has hit in 5 straight games, and this time pulls it to the right side, and Cabrera fields kind of a tough underhand toss, barely got Tien. The Royals down in order against Porcello in the third. They're still coming into Kauffman Stadium as we go to the top of the 4th inning, expecting a sellout here tonight with the Tigers. It's just one game, but you always want to play well in front of a packed home stadium.
Well, I tell you, this is what you live for as a player, Ryan. This is what you want to do is be able to be playing well enough that fans want to come out and watch you play. And you combine that with the stadium improvements, it makes for a great atmosphere for everybody.
Also expecting a big crowd tomorrow night with the jersey giveaway. Maglio Ordonez popped out to second his first time up. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ordonez now 4 out of 28 in his career against Greinke. That is an unhittable pitch. Ordonez is saying to home plate umpire Dana DeMuth, have you seen my numbers against this guy? And you want me to hit that? Over to Billy Butler, and now Zach has retired 5 in a row. That'll bring up Miguel Cabrera, and Zach got him on a ground ball to second base in the first inning. This is a team that Zach has a good history against. 2-1 against the Tigers last year with an ERA under 3 and 8-4 in his career.
Well, Zach has done a great job every inning doing something a little bit different. The first inning it was mainly fastball, first pitch, and finish fastball. Start with the fastball. In the second inning, he went to the curveball a little bit more and then threw the slider in more with 2 strikes. But the one thing he hasn't done yet is to left-handers throwing that slider down underneath their swing. But he's basically not staying the same in the same pattern. He's really recognizing the time to change, and he's utilizing all of his pitches, but in different innings in different places.
Billy's going to run out of room. Butler had an excellent day with the glove in Cleveland yesterday.
Well, he seems to be playing with a lot more confidence, especially to his backhand side. It seems real soft, and his hand seems to be real soft on the balls in the dirt going to his right. And he made a couple of nice plays to his forehand side. The one throw early in the game from Tien and to first base, and then he had the real hard shot to his left. So he seems like he's getting a lot more comfortable over there.
2-2 on Cabrera. So Billy has been seeing a lot of action at first base the past week, with Mike Jacobs seeing more action as the designated hitter. 96 as Zach strikes out his third. 2 down in the 4th inning.
And the one thing he's been able to do right on this fastball is keep it out of the middle of the plate. This ball is right on the corner, and it's got a lot of movement to it. And Cabrera, who has good plate coverage, swung right through the ball. Well, that's got to be hard on the hitter. You throw the curveball, and then you come back with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball on the outer half of the plate. You know it's a strike, but all you're trying to do is hope you can foul it off and hope you make a mistake the next pitch. But right now, his pinpoint accuracy is good.
It's that time of night where it can be tough finding the ball, and Coco no trouble there. Another 1-2-3 for Zach. That's 7 in a row and 38 consecutive scoreless innings. Mike Jacobs leads off against Rick Porcello with the Royals in front 3-0. Jacobs lined out to short first time up. Batting average right around 300. And here's our Toyota League leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Top averages, players with new teams. Jacobs third to just Endy Chavez, a former Royal. And Bobby Abreu is playing his first year with the Angels. Now, we knew the home runs and the RBIs would come, but Jacobs right around a 300 hitter the first 2.5 weeks.
We go back a few games to the White Sox series, and early he was chasing a lot of balls up out of the zone, away, and every time he centers them down in the middle, he seems to do a very good job. He goes back to when he faced Pettit, hitting some balls to left field, getting back on track again, and he credits that with just getting him more focused in the center of the field.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Porcello giving up a 2-run home run to Tien in the first inning, solo home run to Kayaso in the second, and now he's retired the last 6. And a changeup on 3-2. So there's some of the poise and holding it together. He has struck out his third.
I think he's starting to pitch now. Earlier, I think he was trying to power his fastball and his sinker and was getting hit. Now he's starting to change speeds and get the hitters a little bit off balance.
Billy Butler struck out swinging in the first inning. So Porcello is retired 7 in a row. And Billy, after the first pitch, drives Polanco deep onto the outfield grass. Polanco throws him out, 2 down, and now Alberto Kayaso, last time up, hit his first major league home run.
In the second inning, it was a high fastball from Porcello, and I tell you, to be your first major league home run is one to remember. That's the one that went 391 feet from home plate.
441 at bats it took Kayaso to hit his first major league home run, which was the longest among active players. Second to him, a pitcher, Brandon Webb, former Cy Young winner in the National League. It's kind of a surprise because Kayaso's not really a slap hitter. I mean, he can drive the ball.
Well, he's got a nice, short, compact swing, and he's been swinging the bat really well. And he hit some balls in Cleveland that we thought would go, but they just died in the alley in right center field.
And now Porcello's retired 9 in a row. Royals down in order in the 4th. Baseball brought to you tonight by Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends. Please enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. And by Colorado Tourism. Plan your summer vacation, Colorado.com. Well, 4 scoreless innings for Zach tonight. So that's 24 this year, and going back to last year, 38. You'll get Gerald Laird, Brandon Inge, and Josh Anderson. Zach in excellent shape in regard to pitch count. Here's the James B. Nutter and Company total, 49 after 4 innings. 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. And flips a curveball for strike 1 on Laird, who has one of the 2 hits against Zach. He and Polanco with 1-out singles. 0-2. We were just talking off camera about the comparisons that you can make already between Greinke and Porcello.
Well, we can. You look at the way both guys are poised on the mound. They both have good running fastballs, excellent changeups, and excellent hard curveballs. The difference being Porcello hasn't developed that slower curveball that Zach has probably 2 or 3 versions of.
1-2 on Gerald Laird.
I think one of the things when you look at Greinke on the mound that we don't talk about is his poise. I mean, you can't tell whether he's getting beat or he's winning. His face stays the same. And I think that's great from a hitter standpoint, because you can't tell whether you get a guy or not.
De Jesus is going to try and cut this off deep. He does. Laird on his way to second base and just beats a good throw. So Laird 2 for 2, and that's the first extra base hit against Zach tonight. Time now for You Call It, presented by Sprint. Tomorrow is the NFL Draft. So we're going to ask you, what's the best first-round Royals draft pick of all time? Zach Greinke in 02, Kevin Napier in 87, Brian McRae in 85, Willie Wilson in 74. Text 432-432, keyword Royals, and we'll update your selections throughout the game. Inge walked in the second inning. That was part of a double play. What do you think, Frank? You played with 3 of those, and you've seen Zach's entire big league career.
I'm going to go with proof. The proof to me, Willie Wilson right now, batting champion. 1 year we had 230 hits, 100 hits from each side of the plate. Played a long career, stolen bases, championships. I have to go with him.
That's a number that still astonishes me. A switch hitter that gets 100 hits from both sides of the plate.
Plus being an excellent defender also. He was just a very good all-around player.
Laird was 0 for 9 coming in tonight, and now 2 for 2 with a single and a double. Brandon Inge, a 7-game hitting streak coming in tonight. So swinging the bat well, second in the league with 6 home runs.
Well, he wants to try to get Laird to third base, but Zach, with his repertoire, is making it pretty difficult for him to get that done.
Did he go? No. Royals dugout doesn't agree. You can see everyone in the dugout lean back in frustration with first base umpire Todd Tishner.
Well, this is the proof right here, Ryan. He kept it back. He kept the bat hit back. Great call.
Some pretty good forehand and wrist strength to be able to hold that swing back. Got him with a fastball up. 97. That's his fastest pitch tonight. Strikeout number 4.
He just reared back and let it go. You got him almost chase that breaking ball. When you throw that fastball on the outer half like that, it looks even faster. and you put that with him wanting to hit the ball right field anyway, it forces you to try to swing at that pitch right there.
There weren't many high-stress innings for Zach on Saturday when he pitched the shutout against Texas, but he did have to get around a leadoff triple in one inning and then a leadoff double in another. So Laird at second, one away. Josh Anderson up there, grounded into a double play in the second inning. Ball one.
It's really amazing how much you can get done as a pitcher when your mechanics are sound. Everything stays there. You have control of your body. Your stride is perfect, and you have good release point on all your pitches. Everything looks the same coming out of your hand, and that's what confuses hitters the most.
You know, Frank, we say so often about hitting in the big leagues that you're going to get a pitch to hit. You just have to be ready for it. Now, with Zach, you may get a pitch to hit. It may not be a good pitch to hit, but I mean, you're really going to have to pick your spots with the way he's throwing.
Yeah, he's throwing two different type breaking balls, first pitch strikes, and that kind of throws the hitters off. And his fastball to this point has always been on the corner, so they've been able to foul it off or swing and miss.
Now 3-0 on Anderson. So Levo going out to have a word with him. Number 9 hitter Ramon Santiago on deck. Great discounts and packages if you'd like to bring a group of 20 or more. Just contact the Royals group sales and reserve the best seats or one of the great new areas like the Bud Light Party Deck on top of Rival Sports Bar or the Party Suites inside the Hall of Fame building. Ask for group sales at 816-504-4040 or there's more information on the website at royals.com. Another thing that Zach did in throwing a shutout on Saturday, twice he had fallen behind a hitter 3-0 and came back to strike him out. Gil Mesh did the same thing yesterday in Cleveland, both times against Johnny Peralta. Hit hard into center field. And Coco the catch. Laird on his way to third. And that may have caught the Royals off guard. And now Laird going to try and go to the plate. And Zach's throw is offline. I say that may have caught the Royals offline because Coco threw to second base or towards second base instead of towards third.
Well, there was a fly ball and Mike went out in short left center field to try to help with the throw, but the throw looked like it hit the bottom of Laird's foot and kicked off to the right.
And now the fans giving Zach a standing ovation as the streak has come to an end. 38 consecutive scoreless innings going back to last year. And he handles the bunt from Santiago. So the inning over, Tigers on the board.
Zach Greinke is real D's.
Powerful.
A beast.
Consistency.
The silent assassin.
Filthy.
Wow. Fantastic.
And he has been again tonight. The streak coming to an end on an unearned run. The air charge to Mike Aviles, who leads off the bottom of the fifth inning, grounded out to second in the second inning. And Polanco scoops it up and throws out Aviles. One away in the fifth. And now Porcello has really settled in since allowing his second home run. He's retired 10 in a row. Here's that throw.
Well, Mike takes the throw. He's lined up more in the middle between second and third. Maybe a little bit more toward third base would have given him a better angle and less likelihood the ball would have hit the bottom of the foot.
So Aviles charged with the air, but that was more bad luck on his part with the ball hitting the foot. You've talked so many times, Frank, about how the first throw is the important one.
Right, the first throw is always the important one. If you can throw the first throw without it bouncing, then the cutoff guy actually stays in better balance. Once the ball bounces, his feet goes flat, and then he's got to work hard to get the ball to the next base.
One and one to Olivo. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hit the ball hard in the second inning towards a hole in the left side, but flagged down by Inge, who threw him out. Just missed. Tien, a 2-run home run in the first. Kayaso, solo home run in the second. Still 2-2 on Olivo, and nobody has reached base since Kayaso's leadoff home run in the second inning. Into left center field, Olivo singles with 1 out, so that snaps the string and brings up Mitch Meyer.
You know, we watched Miguel Olivo on the last road trip and how hard he was swinging. His head was pulling off a lot of pitches. Then he had the one at bat where he really stayed in there and fought the ball off the right field for a base hit. So when he's hitting the ball over the shortstop second baseman's head, I think now you can say he's on the ball and he's trying to make an honest effort to keep the ball in the middle of the field.
The league will pick up on that in a hurry, and the Rangers and the Indians were pitching him accordingly on the last trip. Everything seemed to be down and away. It's away from Laird, and just like that, the Royals have a runner in scoring position with 1 out. That's a wild pitch charged to Porcello.
Yeah, once you're a hitter and your head starts flying and your front shoulder starts flying open, all you get are fastballs away and breaking balls away, and because your bat is not standing in the strike zone long enough to have enough plate coverage.
Two and 0. Mitch Meyer, one of 6 left-hand batters / switch hitters in the lineup tonight. Royals and the rest of the league don't have a huge sampling against Rick Porcello, but at least in those first 2 games, the lefty is about 150 points better than the righties. Three and 1.
This would be a good time for Mitch to get his first hit. That'd be satisfying to get an RBI with it too, and it might be enough to get you going. But he's got to get his pitch right here. He's got to look for something middle in. That's where his strength is, something that he can really turn on.
Just got a piece of it. We apologize for some of the foggy looking shots from center field, but because of the high winds, it's blowing a lot of mist in front of our center field camera. Mist from the fountains. There's the first walk given up by Porcello. So a warm night, but those guys out there have the cameras covered and then wiping off the lenses in between pitches.
They've got rain gear on also.
Royals baseball brought to you tonight by Lumiere Place Casino and Hotel, presenting Go Blue in St. Louis. One lucky winner will be at the Royals-Cardinals game on May the 23rd and enjoy beautiful accommodations at Lumiere Place Casino and Hotels. Register now at goblueinstlouis.com. So 2 on 1 out for Coco. Hit the daylights out of it last time up, but right to Miguel Cabrera at first base. How about that line drive that John Buck hit to Mark DeRosa in Cleveland yesterday? That had everyone shocked.
That's all you hear are two quick sounds right in rapid succession. Pop, pop. And Mike Jacobs didn't know whether it was a ground ball or line drive to DeRosa at third. After DeRosa threw the ball to first, he kind of thought he was in a rundown, and that's just how quick that happened.
I thought even DeRosa wasn't quite sure what to do just because it happened so fast and the ball was in his glove, just like you said, pop, pop, that he wasn't sure what to do with it.
He was just lucky it wasn't directly at him.
Yeah.
It
pop, crack.
Because that could have been ugly.
Gets away from Laird again. That's huge. Takes away any chance for a double play and puts two in scoring position with one out. And now Porcello, who's had excellent control in his first 2+ starts, has dealt 2 wild pitches in this inning.
Well, normally changeups aren't that hard to block, but that one really just came off the glove. A lot of times the catcher should just settle in, get his glove out of the way, let the ball hit him in the stomach, and kick it back out in front of the plate. He hit off the heel of the glove and bounced toward the third base side. Big at bat for Coco right here.
Tigers bring the infield in on the corners halfway up the middle. And Coco on the ground to the plate. Olivo, the throw is late. The ball gets away. Nobody's backing it up. And the Royals lead 5-1.
That Olivo brings to the game is good speed. And coming down from third base, I don't know if Miguel Cabrera really realized how fast he does run and try to rush that throw and threw it high. Laird's kind of caught in between trying to block the plate and catch a high throw, which is very difficult to do. And Meyer just does a great job of base running after that once the ball kicked off to the third base side.
Scored a fielder's choice for Coco Crisp. He gets 1 RBI to score Olivo, and then the second on the throwing error by Cabrera. So both teams have committed errors in this 5th inning that have led to runs. The Tigers getting their first run in the top of the 5th on an error. That ended Greinke's scoreless streak at 38. De Jesus 0 for 3 tonight as he flies out to Anderson, and Coco back to first with 2 down.
Well, Ryan, when you're playing infield in like that, and you got to go to your right 3 or 4 steps, and you got a guy on third base that can run, then you're better off to just take the one out.
Todd Tishner and Rusty Kuntz going at it. I don't know if it has anything to do with where Rusty is positioning himself. If he wants Rusty to be in the first base coach's box, Rusty would become the first base coach in Major League history to actually use the box. Coco leaning the other way, just barely got back.
Well, I know as a first base coach, you want to get close as you can so you can help your base runner, and I don't see anything wrong with Rusty moving up there. As long as he's not across the white line, as long as he's not blocking the umpire's vision to home plate, I don't see why that would even affect him at first base.
One and 0 on Mark Tien. Homer to the opposite field in the first inning, putting the Royals out in front 2-0. Kayaso added a solo home run in the second. And the Royals getting 2 more here in the 5th on a fielder's choice and an error. 2 runs scoring on 1 play. Tigers pitching out. I was just going to say this would not be a bad running situation if Coco happens to be thrown out. Tien's not a bad guy to lead off the next inning.
Well, that's true.
Of course, that's not what the Royals had in mind. They're thinking if Coco runs, he would be in scoring position for Tien, not running. And Tien again belts it to deep left field. This time Anderson has room. It takes him to the front of the warning track to make the catch to end the inning. But the Royals get 2 more in the 5th. Now Zach Greinke has a 4-run lead as we move to the 6th inning and revisit You Call It, presented by Sprint. Zach, a former first-round draft pick, and we ask you, what do you think is the Royals' best first-round Royals draft pick? 432-432. Enter keyword Royals, space, A, B, C, or D. Greinke, Apier, Brian McRae, and Wilson. Curtis Granderson leads off. Zach starts him off with a changeup. Granderson 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Zach 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. One and one. So the long scoreless streak ending for Zach in the 5th inning. Gerald Laird scoring on an error. Kind of a tough luck error for Mike Avila's handling a relay throw from center field, trying to throw out Laird at third. It hit Laird's foot as he was sliding in head first, kicked away, and came around to score. Shallow right. Meyer started back but recovers and makes the play. And speaking of that error, let's take a look at our Coors Light freeze cam. The 6th is our Coors Light inning.
You know, Ryan, one of the things that outfielders hate to do is make a throw to a base that hits the runner, that creates an error, and lets that runner continue on the home plate, and that's what happened there. With Laird sliding in the third base, the ball hit him at the bottom of the foot, screened off to the third base side, to the left field side, and Zach wasn't able to get the ball to home plate fast enough to get Laird at the plate.
So 24 innings this year, 38 innings going back to last year, a streak that began against the Tigers. Polanco is singled and hit a soft liner to third base. Now sharply hit to third, but Tien's on it. And a perfect throw over to Butler. 2 down in the 6th inning. Not going to speak for Zach, and I don't know if the streak was even on his mind, but those types of things sometimes can be a lot of fun for the fans, but can be a distraction for the player.
Well, I think Zach was really thinking about it. The cameras didn't really pick it up, but after he made that throw to the plate and just missed getting Laird at the plate, you can see he had a lot of emotion, and even gave a little glove tap to Tien, like, man, because you could tell it was on his mind. He was in there. He was focused.
Ordonez 0 for 2, and now he is 4 for 29 against Zach Greinke. That is a shattered bat, and a 1-2-3 6th inning.
This is the 6th inning, and this is our Sonic Slam inning. And our contestant is Amber Bradley from Smithfield, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Amber will win $1,600. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Amber will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
You know, that's a very controversial ruling. The grand slam has to be out of the park. Because, you know, the Royals have never hit an inside the park grand slam in their now 40-year-plus history.
I think in my playing career, I only saw one. It was actually here against the Chicago White Sox. Kevin Bell hit a line drive, and then we didn't have padding on our wooden outfield walls, and Tom Poquette was playing left field, and he went after the ball, and his spikes got caught in the turf, and he kind of face planted right into that wall and had some serious facial damage, but the ball hit the wall and ran around the center field. That was the first inside the park grand slam I ever witnessed.
Jacobs just got a piece of that. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, you can have an inside the park home run and win the pot, but you can't have an inside the park grand slam and win the $25,000, which, by the way, that ruling keeps our good buddy Joe Posnanski of the Kansas City Star up at night. He can't get over that. Jacobs down on strikes. That's 4 for Rick Porcello. 1 down in the 6th inning. Here are the results so far, and the fans agreeing with Frank White that Willie Wilson, to this point, is the Royals' best first-round draft pick. 70%. Speaking of inside the park home runs, by the way. There's another first-round pick, Billy Butler.
If my math is correct, he had 13 inside the park home runs.
Now the Royals had to convince him to not accept a football scholarship to Maryland, correct?
Yes. Details the story that Randy White, who was the lineman for the Dallas Cowboys, was the one that kind of took him around and tried to get him used to the university. And he said he looked at all those guys and he looked at their size and looked at where he was and thought baseball was a better fit.
Here's a trivia question for you. Can you name another Royals first-round draft pick that had to be convinced not to accept a football scholarship to the University of Maryland?
D. Brown.
We have a winner. Both were from New York. Both were outfielders. Both could have played football at Maryland. Both drafted in the first round and signed with the Royals. 4-pitch walk from Porcello to Billy Butler. Porcello is at 79 pitches. He's only been going about, well, let's see, 89 in his first start, 86 in his second. So they're going to be careful with him. That was a one-way conversation.
Kind of hard to imagine what he would say right there. I know if he's in that pitch counts range, but I think he might want to see him finish strong. He might want to look at him to see if he thought he was laboring on the mound. But I think he just want to make sure that for the most part he's okay and that he stays aggressive on the mound.
So 5 in a row now. Porcello missing out of the strike zone. Alberto Kayaso 1 for 2 with his first major league home run in the second inning. 391 feet to right center field. And then grounded out in the fourth inning. Kayaso is hitting at 386 with a 7-game hitting streak. Josh Anderson out in left field has been busy. And the wind almost blew that one too far to his left. And Butler back to first, 2 down. Our next telecast in high definition is coming up on Sunday. Royals and the Tigers. That'll be Sidney Ponson and Armando Galarraga, thanks to Time Warner Cable. Coverage beginning at 12:30 with Royals Live with Joel and Jamie. Aviles is 0 for 3 with that ground out. Royals scoreless in the 6th inning. Zach Greinke, just 1 unearned run in 6 innings. The Royals have been using the long ball. Mark Tien and Alberto Kayaso going deep against Rick Porcello. Now Zach to the mound in the 7th inning with a 4-run lead. He has retired 13 of the last 14. So losing the scoreless streak in the 5th inning because of an error. The pitch to Miguel Cabrera, Carlos Guillen, and Gerald Laird, and that's ball 1 on Cabrera, who was leading the American League in hitting coming in tonight, but is grounded out and struck out. One ball, one strike.
One I think, well, Miguel Cabrera does a couple things well. One is he does have great plate coverage with his bat, and does do well against breaking balls when he's behind in the count.
One and two. Something that Zach has also done better in his last 2 starts than his first 2 is economizing his pitches.
And I think it all starts with his fastball and being able to get his breaking balls over first pitch. And when in hitting counts, he's been able to keep his fastball out of the middle of the plate.
That is strikeout number 5. Olivo down to Butler to complete the strikeout. So Cabrera 0 for 3. And now Zach has retired 14 of 15.
And one of the things that makes Zach real dangerous right now, Ryan, is the fact that he throws 3 or 4 different types of breaking balls, and as a hitter, if you knew it was just a slider by itself, you could sit on it, but you don't know what's going to be the hard slider, the curveball, or the big lollipop curveballs that they can throw for 2 or 3 different speeds. So the hitter just can't center him in one area, and I think that's where he's got the great advantage right now.
So calling him a 4-pitch pitcher is not accurate.
No, I think he's got about 6 in there. He could probably invent one if he has to. But just as a hitter, you always want to know what the pitcher's out pitch is, and it's either going to be a slider or a splitter or a curveball. But with him, he can throw anything, and so you just can't really center him. And I think that's where the advantage comes in.
Backing Guillen off the plate. A strikeout and a flyout for Guillen. Olivo holding that out a little bit longer to give Dana DeMuth an extended look.
Well, he's looking for the pitch down, and Zach puts it in a great place, and he didn't miss by much.
Next pitch fouled away, 2-2.
I think it all depends on how smooth those catches are and bringing that ball back out over the corner.
Strikeout number 6.
If you talk to a lot of pitching coaches, they would probably call this slider a disappearing slider right here. It's there, and then you commit, and when you commit, it's gone.
And now the one Tiger who has gotten good swings against Zach tonight, Gerald Laird, who's 2 for 2. Singled in the 2nd inning, doubled and scored the Tigers' run in the 5th. And because it's an unearned run, the scoreless streak is over, but Zach's ERA is still at 0.
Well, we talked about on the road how some pitchers, at the end of the night, you say this was a comfortable 0 for 4 or whatever it might be. But with Zach, it's frustrating as heck.
Look at Miguel Olivo. Those cat-like reflexes. We told you Laird might lay one down. Olivo was ready for that.
Well, we know he's quick as a cat back there, and he shows it right there. The toughest thing is just following the ball up off the bat.
see it. A guy makes a great play, leads off the next inning. On and on and on. Panera takes us around the American League. Orioles in front of the Rangers. Ian Kinsler, 17 RBIs as a leadoff man. Twins leading the Indians. Royals just left Cleveland. Yankees and Red Sox, a couple of hot teams there. Red Sox have won 7. Yankees have won 3 in a row. Blue Jays leading the East with 12 victories. Mariners at the Angels. Seattle with a 3.5 game lead. And the Rays at Oakland. Oakland has lost 4 in a row. How about this play?
This is a great play by Miguel Olivo. He's one of the quickest catchers in the league, getting out. You know, the toughest thing about that play is just seeing it come off the bat and go in the right direction. He follows the ball very well on foul balls.
You almost have to have some anticipation, don't you? I mean, we've seen pop-ups where the catcher can't find the ball when it's way up in the sky, but I mean, he popped out like he knew exactly where that ball was going to go. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now facing Wichita native Nate Robertson, former Wichita State Shocker, now pitching out of the bullpen. That started last year with the Tigers. Longtime starting pitcher. 2-1 on Olivo.
Yeah, Nate's fastball slider change. Curveball 71-72.
Pass Robertson under Polanco and into center field. 2 hits for Miguel Olivo. Only 2 hits on the last road trip. He did hit his first home run and a good start to the homestand.
Well, the one thing he's doing, he's standing in the middle of the field. There's a lot of hits in the middle of the field. This pitch is down. He doesn't try to pull it. He just stays over the ball, and up the middle is a lot of hits. Now, Mitch Meyer can bunt, but I don't know if he'd be bunting right here, but he does have that ability to do that.
Mitch is 0 for 9 since being called up. He has walked 3 times, scored 3 times, and sometimes a guy who hasn't gotten his first hit also can be a candidate for a hit and run.
Hit and run, or just give him something positive to do, and that would really help. That would really go a long way. At least he can go home saying he did something positive, even if he got a sack here or whatever it might be, the hit and run or whatever. But it's important to just do something positive every night.
Two balls, no strikes. So Rick Porcello, the 20-year-old sensation, goes 6 innings. Gave up only 4 hits and 5 runs, 1 unearned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. And into right center field, long run, Ordonez. Meyer has his first hit. Olivo going to hold at third. The Royals have runners at second and third with nobody out.
Robinson gets a fastball and Mitch stays down with it and drives it into right center field to get his first hit. It was a big hit, put runners in scoring position, and Royals have a great opportunity to add on right here. Olivo never even hesitated. you got to put a rope on him to bring it back. I tell you, he goes hard. Anything he does on the baseball field is going to be 110%.
Pitch fouled away by Coco with the infield in. I remember when Mike Sweeney was in his prime. Of course, he was getting on base a lot, but he scored a lot of runs. And I remember asking former Royals manager Tony Muser, is he a good base runner for scoring so many runs? And Tony Muser said he wants to score. When he gets on base, I mean, his job isn't over. He wants to score, and I think the same could be said for Olivo. When he's on base, you can't have a normal-sized stop sign. The stop sign has to be a little bit bigger.
Well, you got to have your hands up, and you got to be yelling at the same time.
Olivo has already scored tonight. That was back in the 5th inning. Just barely got a piece. Coming home on a contact play.
Well, he's going right away on this play, and he's very aggressive. Cabrera tries to make a quick play, but Olivo really makes that play real easy at home plate.
And then when the throw got away, Meyer right behind him, coming around to score. And the same guys on the bases now.
Well, Coco to chase some balls down. He really needs to make Robinson get the ball up so he can get the ball over the infield.
Base hit left field. Olivo scores. Meyer coming around third base. And the throw home in time. Good throw by Anderson. And a nice catch and block by Laird. Royals have a 6-1 lead.
Well, Mitch is an excellent base runner. He gets a good jump. He makes a good turn at third. But Anderson gets a good throw to the plate, and Laird does an excellent job of blocking Meyer off home plate.
Coco, however, after the throw missed the cutoff man, moves up to second base. There was an example, even though they got the runner out at the plate, the throw wasn't even close to the cutoff man. And when that happens, the runner can advance to second easily.
Yeah, once it goes over the cutoff man's head, the base runner has to keep going.
David didn't mean to go around. As a base runner, though, Frank, if you're in that position and the throw is at least close to the cutoff man and you're not sure whether he's going to cut it off or not, that hesitation could cost you going to second base, couldn't it?
It'll cost you a lot because you got to watch the height of the ball. If the ball is head high or lower, you have to stay at first until the ball goes through it. And if it's over his head, you continue right away.
Still 0-2 on David. Nothing out of 3 tonight. So Anderson getting the outfield assist. But on the play, a runner ends up in scoring position with 1 out. DeJesus, a good 2-strike hitter. DeJesus against Porcello, grounded back to the mound, flied out to center, flied out to left. Still alive. Mitch Meyer telling Brian Bannister all about his slide at the plate and telling him all about the scrapes and the cuts on his right forearm.
Laird did an excellent job blocking him out of there. And he's always a little firm around home plate too, so it's easy to get those burn marks with the different mixture that's in the dirt. You can see he tried to reach that right arm down underneath there, and that's where those bruises come from.
Little hydrogen peroxide after the game.
A whole bunch. When you go in the shower, you got to put a lot of Vaseline on, because when that water hits it, I mean, your arm just gets paralyzed. Yeah, so they'll go in and clean it up real good, and then put a little ointment on it, and so that water won't get in there and make it sting.
To Cabrera, no chance for a double play. 2 down in the 7th inning. And it doesn't hurt as bad when you've got a walk, a double, and a run scored tonight, right? Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Tien 1 for 3. Homered to left field in the 1st inning with Coco Crisp on base. Grounded out in the 3rd, and then nearly homered again to left field in the 5th, taking Josh Anderson to the warning track. To left field again. He's been picking on Anderson all night. So Tien is 1 for 4. Could easily be 3 for 4. Royals add a run. A whole new breakfast with grilled breakfast sandwiches, a new yogurt parfait, and fresh coffee at Panera. Now Zach Greinke has a 5-run lead with 6 outs to go. He'll get the lower third of the order. Zach has retired 16 of the last 17. Brandon Inge has walked and struck out. 6 strikeouts for Zach. Inge the only one to walk against Greinke. 1 ball, 1 strike. Inge played 4 positions for the Tigers last year. Opened the year in center field when Curtis Granderson started on the disabled list. You remember the Royals began the year in Detroit, and before the first pitch of the season was thrown, everyone was predicting the Tigers were going to run away with the division. They were going to score 1,000 runs, and the Royals swept the series, and the Tigers ended up in last place. Strikeout number 7, and Inge fooled badly by that Greinke slider.
Well, that slider's going to get a lot of guys because it's got so much deception on it, so much late break on it. By the time you realize what it is, you've already checked your swing. It's even more of a difficult pitch when you're a middle-in hitter and you're not used to going out there and hitting that ball the other way. So that pitch is even more devastating coming out of Zach's hand.
So 7 strikeouts. He struck out 4 of the last 10. Still throwing in the 90s with excellent control. Jumps ahead of Anderson. Grounded into a double play in the 2nd inning. Line to center in the 5th. And he's down, no balls, 2 strikes. Remember, you can get your Royals official gear at the official online pro shop of the Royals. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Royals caps, t-shirts, jerseys, and more at the Royals.com pro shop. Overthrew that pitch. 95 on the radar gun, but not close.
A lot of times Zach will elevate that fastball like that so he can come down underneath of that hard breaking ball again.
You mean like that? Anderson strikes out, breaks his bat in frustration. 8 strikeouts for Greinke. He has struck out 18 in his last 2 starts.
Well, he throws that high fastball to really change the eye level, and then he comes back to that back foot with that slider. Early in the game against left-handers, he had gone to that pitch yet. He stayed mainly with fastballs away, so he's still doing a good job of mixing his pitches.
And what else? 0-1 to the next hitter, Santiago. So Greinke has thrown 27 2/3 innings this year. Has struck out 34 and has walked 6. And has given up a grand total of 0 earned runs. And he has a whole garage full of swings like that.
That's because he's got a whole garage full of pitches that he can get over the plate, and he's done a great job of setting them all up.
You know, guys don't pitch as many innings as they used to, but his last 2 starts, Zach, get the feeling that he smells complete game and victory and taking his pitches to another level. Strikes out the side. He's retired 19 of the last 20 and has struck out 9 tonight. Take a look at the Firestone in-game box score. See what the Royals have done at the plate against Rick Porcello and Nate Robertson. Mike Jacobs, Billy Butler, and Alberto Kayaso in the 8th. Jacobs 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, lined out to the shortstop Santiago in the first inning. I'm sure he figured he had a hit as he lined it right up the middle, but Santiago playing now where he was then. And the Tigers, with a good scouting report on Jacobs, had the defense shifted perfectly in the first.
Yeah, you hate to square those line drives up, and you take 2 or 3 steps out of the box and you see him bending back toward the defense, and that's a deflating feeling.
Reaching out, Polanco has to come way in. Low throw is handled by Cabrera. And Jim Leland pops up out of the third base dugout. So Robertson staying in to face the left-hand hitting Jacobs. And now Rick Perry, another former first-round draft pick, will come on to face Billy Butler. tonight. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. Don't forget, tomorrow the Royals are bringing back the most popular giveaway from last year. Gates are going to open at 3 o'clock, and the first 20,000 fans are going to receive a replica 40th anniversary jersey from Fox Sports Kansas City. Plus, you can help the Royals support baseball tomorrow by bringing a donation of a new or used baseball equipment. It's a 6:10 game tomorrow. And the jersey will have that same patch on the sleeve that Coco Crisp has with the number 40. This is Ryan Perry, and Billy, after the first pitch, gets it past Brandon Inge. Butler 1 for 3. One on, one out in the 8th inning.
Billy stays back and gets his fastball and pulls it right in the 6 hole. I was going to say Ryan Perry is mainly fastball slider, but he's been up as high as 97, so it'll be interesting to see how he does here. You know, the one thing about relievers coming out of the bullpen, those hitters are always geared for that first pitch fastball. So those guys that can come out and throw first pitch off speed do a pretty good job.
And now Perry doing a good job of getting over to cover. Kayaso, who homered his first time up, is 1 for 4. Butler to second base, so 4-1. And now Mike Aviles. I said Rick Perry coming in. Ryan Perry, although Rick and Ryan were talked about quite a bit in spring training. 20-year-old Rick Porcello, who started tonight, and now Ryan Perry, who was drafted in the first round last year out of the University of Arizona. So the ability is there, or they don't make the club, but then in the back of your mind you wonder, are they ready for this, as their professional careers have been short to this point. Porcello in the first round of 07, Perry in the first round last year.
Well, a lot of times your college guys, it depends on their makeup. It depends on their mental toughness and their poise and how well they bounce back from adversity. They take into consideration all those things. Character is a big part, and just how well do they learn, how fast do they learn.
Perry is 22 years old. He was drafted out of college, Porcello out of high school. Aviles is grounded out 3 times. Two and two. A fastball at 95 on the stadium radar gun. Ordonez in right field, and we are 3 outs away from Zach Greinke pitching another complete game. Royals lead 6-1. Count them, 9 strikeouts for Zach Greinke in 8 innings. We go to the 9th inning. Remember, after the game, Boulevard Royals Live, Unfiltered Fridays with Joel Goldberg and Jamie Quirk. Highlights and analysis. Talk plenty about Zach Greinke. Jose Guillen, who's scheduled to be in the lineup tomorrow, and preview tomorrow's game, which has Kyle Davies going against Zach Minor. Zach had 98 pitches. He threw 111 with the complete game shutout. That's a 74-mile-an-hour curveball, 1-1 on Curtis Granderson, who's 0 for 3. One ball, 2 strikes. Zach has retired 19 of the last 20, including the last 12 in a row, and he has struck out 6 of those last 12.
He's pitched him well. He struck him out with hard sliders. He's still able to get his first pitch breaking ball over, and he usually throws that pitch out of the zone like that, and really just comes back down under the left-hander swing with a hard breaking ball.
There it is again. He's been doing that all night. 10 strikeouts, matching a season high. Now 1 away from tying a career high. And Zach has struck out 6 of the last 7 hitters.
When we talk about pitching, Ryan, we always talk about one pitch meaning something for the next pitch. And so what Zach is doing here, he's definitely doing that. Every pitch you throw sets up the next pitch, and he's done a great job of changing the eye level and coming back with the pitch he wants as a strikeout pitch.
Polanco 1 for 3. Gerald Laird has the other 2 hits. Now trying to do something against Greinke. Missing a bunt attempt. 6-1 Royals. This may well be 60-1 Royals. Polanco and his teammates have figured out that swinging the bat against Greinke hasn't worked out very well tonight. Back to Zach. 2 down. And now a sellout crowd begins to stand and cheer Zach home. To do is get past Maglio Ordonez, who's 0 for 3 tonight and 4 out of 30 in his career against Greinke. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, it's really great when it's your crowd that's on their feet cheering for that last out for a victory. And to see this stadium full, it just gives you chills, because you know if the Royals continue to play this way, the stadium can look like this a lot this year.
Seen much of that tonight. Greinke shaking off Olivo to Butler. Zach Greinke has thrown back-to-back complete games.